Come on in. Okay. So Chris, facilities, but then Eric, different facilities?
So yeah, well, we'll go for a quickie here. So this,
Okay. All right.
all right, perfect. All right, so just a quick, Ben is to ask a question. There is kind of like the schools and the town buildings have been separate for many years, and that's why there's two facilities.
I see. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to skip the order of things that I originally had on the agenda. I hope anybody else in the audience is not going to be upset. I'm going to address the things that you guys want to hear more about than the things that we want to hear more about. Okay. So one of the things that we talked about it's coming up is that we are about to finish our street lights. October 22nd, the LED lights will all be complete in town. That means we can proceed through town meeting and all that wonderful stuff. And let me do this, town meeting and all that wonderful stuff, and basically do our final report and go for the next grant, which would be this spring. So I wanted to jump right in and talk about the grants and what's going on there. So to date, the green team has managed to get about $550,000 worth of money. I'm not going to say free money because we all pay for it, but money from the state to do energy upgrades around town. Okay. Now we have to, the idea here was that these upgrades are supposed to help us reduce our overall energy consumption by 20%. We're falling short of that, but that's for another story. But the fact of the matter is, now it's time to look at the next round of grants. And they've gotten a little bit tougher now, but there is a simple little, there's a simple couple of different things we have. So I sent out, did you get this whole wonderful thing?
I did, I just didn't bring the print.
That's all right, you didn't have to bring the print, I brought that for others. So I sent out, Eric, did you get a copy of the 2017? I sent it to Carol, and I think I had it addressed to the original meeting invite.
Yes, I received it.
Okay, so if not, I can resend it. But in here, there's a couple of pages that I'd like to just point out for you, and this is mainly for the two of you guys. There is on page 4. Hold on, let me. Can I do this? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna wait one moment. Got one more straggling member to struggle with now. Come on in. I know this is a packed meeting for us. Don't worry about it.
Good, how are you?
All right.
Sorry about the timing.
Oh, don't worry about it, please. You've learned by now that this is not the most stringent of meeting crowds.
He's worked 45 minutes early, 5 minutes late.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, yeah.
Chris, how you connected to the team? I received it.
All right, so now I'm not finding the page, but
What do you after?
it was just, evaluation criteria. Nope, that was asking questions, but for some reason, I don't think the page printed. Energy resilience, application, thermal, retro commission, zero building, fleet. Why'd it go right to fleet? All right, I'll have to thing. So there is a certain criteria for projects to do for the town, and I think what I did is I ended up printing out the wrong form because it's not the form I was looking for and things like that. So the idea on the projects have to be that anything to save energy, except for lighting right now. So they're looking for other things, mainly, get away from the fossil fuels as much as you can. And the reason I mentioned it, and so this is open for almost anything. They can say it is you can go anything from tightening the envelope around the building, doing new reglazing, doing installation, doing anything like that. There's grant openings for improving the heat systems in a building. This is mainly the big push in the state of Massachusetts is to go to the heat pumps, the mini splits or the heat pumps, as we like to think. There's a big push there. The emphasis on the heat pumps means it has to be used for both heat and cool. It can't be cool only. It can't be, well, I don't know why you'd use it heat only, but it's got to be both heat and cool. And they are putting the highest incentives for that. For that, they are very lucrative with the green, as well as there is a lot more of the state, not just the National Grid, Unitil, state subsidies on those systems more than anything else. So I wish I could, let me see if I can find this thing. Bear with me a second here.
Dave, just so you know, you're going in and out.
Okay,
But it's back and forth.
okay,
Thanks.
all right. No problem. I apologize for that. I'm trying to, unfortunately, I have the computer on one side of the room and myself talking to the group on the other side of the room, so.
I know this problem.
Yes, exactly. All right, so I'm gonna skip this whole thing and. I know. One of these days we'll get this town to invest in an hour. But, you know. Ah,
Hear that, because Dan will lose it.
yeah, I understand. Well, the library, we had this fancy speaker, but it's not working anymore, so that's okay. Things like that. So really what I need is that the biggest thing here is that you have to have a energy audit ahead of time, or so you have to basically be able to do a feasibility study on whatever you want to do. So that, what you got to show is return on investment of what you're going to save over time by converting the system, and just the scope of the services. And then basically they're looking for usually under 5-year, preferably under 4-year ROI on the investment.
On dollars, save on the investment or energy?
That upgrading would pay for itself in like 4 or 5 years. Okay, so sometimes it gets a little fuzzy area. However, if you're thinking about what you would be for the alternative, it does make it a little bit easier. So I'll resend the forms of what the different things that you can do and the different things that are possible. I apologize that I didn't end up in the right form myself. It's actually.
Is it not the list? Is it
Like this,
qualified
is this what you're
numbers?
after that was in, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't do it that way. Hold on. Let me.
But it was in the email.
2017 GC.
Right.
Page 4.
See, that's why I need you guys here, because that's how. Okay, bear with me a second here.
Covering my projections.
I just opened the email.
Dave, I think the other thing that's important, even though it puts down a specific, there are ways to tweak the project.
Hey, Dave,
You can include what your main goal is, but also do other things with the project. And ROI, better set you up in position for grant acceptance.
All right, so let me do this now. Let me see if I can do this. Bear with me. I'm trying to do 2 screens at once. So share screen and share screen. Okay, share. Admit. Oh, hold on. I got another visitor. Admit. Come on, get out of the way there. There we go. Admit. Okay. All right. So you guys in the audience can now see the screen.
We see you.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
see.
Okay. So hopefully this will be a little bit easier to start explaining some of the things that you can use, that you can go after as far as grant money. Okay. We are, I think, if I remember correctly, this year will be up to $250,000 worth of grant money that we could be asked. And I'm gonna arrow down a little bit just so that the rest of this can show up. Um, So heating, ventilation, and AC, you see air source heat pumps in there,
Mhm.
on there. Well, I don't think thermostat thing. And then the rest of it, I'm not gonna put up because it's really not, lighting stuff, they've kind of said, no, they've said, everybody's done enough of that. Yeah, we've had enough of that. So,
Dan, on the feasibility study or the energy audit assessment, have we done that for any municipal buildings like schools and non?
it has been done in the past. It's just a matter of, most of them are probably, older than they need to be
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
now.
those are great places to start because usually they've got good technical expertise in auditor. They write up a report of, here are recommendations on what you should do to improve energy efficiency of the building, often starting with what's the lowest cost stuff, all the way down to the bigger projects.
Correct. And so that's definitely one of the things I'd like to, we can do and I'd like to look into that. So, I'm trying to remember things. So there's two things available for that. There are grants available for the energy study, as well as, you can do the energy study with the understanding that the company who did the study will be the company that you hire, which is pretty much the way it works in Massachusetts anyhow, because, there's only so many companies that are certified with the state to be able to do these things.
Is it pretty different than a residential energy assessment?
Yes, yeah. So it's much more extensive than a residential would be.
Yeah.
It's gonna look at the system, look at the, the expected lifetime of the system and different things of that.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, and we'll look for more on the envelope, and things, and also just different ways, as you mentioned, for saving energy.
Yeah.
How does it work? Like the primary school doesn't have any. So if you put heat pumps in, you may not get the ROI because you're adding cooling while you supplement your heating system. That makes those types of installs harder because replacing an energy pod, you're adding cooling to a building in an energy efficient way, but you never had it in the past.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but what you're showing is that in the times when you're using heat, that return on investment,
Okay.
that's gonna be the key. So it doesn't matter if you're using it for something else, it matters that during that moment of heat usage,
Okay.
you can save.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one, and I think we've all seen it talked about at town meeting to try and get the cooling
Right.
system there. So if you can get the air source heat pump system for the whole that whole building.
But I wonder if they give you credit for added cooling in an energy efficient way. Can you show ROI by not having done it a different way? Grab it.
And that would,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we went the energy efficient
Right.
route, cooling this building is only costing us X. Had we gone with a more traditional HVAC system, costing us Y. So it's that.
Good question.
That can contribute to ROI too, or no, because you never had a system.
Right, you've got
No cooling is more energy efficient than.
Right.
It's gotta be an offset of the
Yeah.
existing.
right,
What-
existing load,
What's the heating system there currently?
so the heating system is gonna be, the heating system.
Natural gas.
And in the schools, the heating system right now is forced hot air or is it forced hot water?
Carol, I got the primary
Eric.
School, sorry, specifically.
Eric's still pretty new, so I'm not sure he's fully up to speed on all the systems.
Yeah, he's-
Okay.
Actually, I don't even think he starts till next week.
Oh, okay.
Eric, welcome to the team.
Yes, welcome, Eric. Sorry to throw you to the wolves right away.
Did they go through that onboarding? What's the heating system at the primary school?
You guys are cutting in and out. It's hard to hear you.
Okay, so we were just wondering what the primary school, what is the heat system now? Is it, forced hot air, forced hot water, oil, natural gas?
I don't know.
My understanding is natural gas and air handlers on the roof.
Okay.
Circulate.
Right, right, okay. All right, so that's kind of an idea on that right now. So so this gets me to the second thing. Let me try to put this up. Bear with me a minute here because I can't find my mouse. There is a second availability. Oops. Here we go. Come on. All right. You seeing the new thing on the screen?
There it is.
Okay. Okay. So the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, there is a on the state Combine page, they are soliciting for you can get a grant to do this energy survey. So this is, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of paperwork. I mean, not a lot of paperwork, but basically, where am I here? So this is, shoot. So this one's gonna give you a little bit of the idea of what is constituted in this energy conservation project. But the idea here, there is a grant for state subsidies for projects for having a total project cost of under $100,000 for being able to get full funding for these projects. So I need to.
There was one thing, I didn't understand what that one was for an energy survey.
So there's one for an energy survey, and I'm not finding that one now because I got too many things that I opened up, and I'm not. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, here, let me open this file. All right. Oh, this must have been the first one I had. Hold on, bear with me a second here. How do I get rid of this thing? How do I get rid of this?
If I knew, I'd tell you. I need you to wait to go away.
Just move up.
Oh, there we go. No.
Don't load in too fast.
No, that's not the right one. Sorry, guys, bear with me here a second. I'm just gonna do it the easy way then.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time, David.
Well, that's easy for you, but that's not what we're getting at. Okay, there is a Combine bid, and this bid would be due by November 17th. So there's an availability of funds available. So you get it for a grant up to $15,000 for municipal energy technical assistance development and engineering designs. So the grant funding is available to basically provide what we talked about, you know, the energy audit on here. Let me go down further. We will have finished spending all of the grant funded projects by well before September 30th of 2025, which we haven't. I'm going to shoot the people who are installing the lights, but I didn't say that out loud. But that, you know, this is what's available. Let me talk about it. Going to talk about the valuation criteria. And I'll send you guys a link to the Combine site. On here. So basically, it's project viability, a demonstrated commitment to move forward with the project, which I think is pretty easy for us to do. Let me go further. I'm not going to make it so you read a reading exercise. This is going to be okay. So this is the one I was looking at right here for you guys, at least for the schools right now. You see the second one there, heat pump, conversion to a high efficiency heat pump system as one of the applicable things. I'm not finding this. So I think there could be funds available to help us get this energy survey done and get ourselves ready for the next grant round. I don't know how quickly they're gonna award the funds. I don't know if I saw that.
Does for this application, they have an audit? That or is that?
So you would,
The first bullet point. Or the second.
that, yes, you would have to have an audit on the envelope of the building.
That's a good call. So, David, it sounds like we've done energy audits in the past. They might be relatively dated, is what I heard. But
Yes.
that one doesn't at least specify, it has to be done before a certain time, so.
Correct, and I don't have those audits. This would be something I think, well, either through the town, I don't know if you have any records of anything. Or you, when you guys get into the middle of things, whether you have records of things.
On the town side, we don't have a whole lot. The only thing I have is that my tech students did one of Ritter for me
Okay.
in an effort to help our window replacement project there.
Mhm.
But they're not a licensed place, right? I doubt the state would take that. As far as anything else, it may exist, but I don't have files of it.
It looks like that's one.
Yeah.
Renewable thermal studies, which I think
Right.
says it also.
And one of the things the superintendent said a while ago, and I think I forwarded it to Dave, was the schools at elementary. And, where the window replacement and or film application and there was one other. Might fit into our program. I think one of the things too, that I think there's potential for more projects than we can apply for money. So I think we need to get the list put together so we can map out which projects we want to go after next spring, which ones maybe next fall, or even a year and a half down the road. I know Chris has some boiler replacements coming up in capital, but they're really not on the docket for what, a couple of years.
Couple of years, everyone looks at the library and public safety of new buildings, but 20 years old at this point, so boilers in both of those, and public safety's on oil. I already have capital money to do new condensers for the ACs at the senior center. Town hall is gonna need all new AC condensers, it's gonna need new furnaces. The library rooftops are obsolete, so those are gonna get pushed up. Half the building, we didn't have air conditioning all year.
So 20-year-old units, that you can.
Correct.
The replacement, the energy efficiency increases quite a bit year to year.
Yeah.
Technology, you're just. Modern units.
Teen center will probably need one, but that one's further out.
Like with the capital plan and capital planning action, we'll have to get through this next budget season of actually formally looking at 5 to 10 year plan for all capital projects. So we may be able to piggyback off of that as that gets developed and say, okay, we can go after that project in 2025, we can go after that project in 2026, assuming the Green Communities funding continues on through, which it should. No reason so far. that it won't.
No, they're still soliciting for more communities. I mean, I can't see why any community hasn't done it already because it's coming. So really, bottom line is that, please reach out. If I will try to point you to, any kind of resources we can give to help you understand what is necessary to put a list together of possible projects. We're gonna be looking for projects. Now, unfortunately, the team here is able-bodied and willing to help, with the grant side of things and getting things done. But we're really not the ones that, are gonna be able to walk around the buildings and come up with projects more than anything else. So that's where we need to help. It's, we've kind of been in a stalemate now. Like, the most recent one is we did the public safety building and finally fixed everything that was wrong with the heat and all the systems.
It's better.
Well, supposedly that was supposed to be it. There is also, if you wanted, we can go for it again, but there is a program that the state does for running the advanced heat systems. Like it teaches more on how to build the systems, how to program the systems, and how to make it the most efficient as possible. That's a free program that the state does. It's like a 2-day program. Well, it's not free. It's $5,000, but you do that through the grants. And unfortunately, last time I think we missed out because we were in between directors, facility directors. So we kind of had gotten the grant, but nobody was able to take advantage of it, which was unfortunate. So really, that's what we're looking for. Is I can send you data about what grants we've done in the past and what kind of data we provided for those grants. That's what we do. Is we want to just help you guys get some things done. Where we've done everything up to pretty much 70 to 80% of the cost of a project that the state will give you, and how much Unitil is going to give you, and how much your ROI is. So I think it'll make things go a lot quicker around here if we can.
I guess maybe a question to Eric and Chris. It still sounds like just a basic mass save energy assessment on some of the priority buildings would be a great place to start.
I would agree. We don't have anything new enough that, and truth be told, when I came on board, there wasn't much in the way of organization as far as files or anything goes.
Yeah.
So getting new stuff on file would help all of our buildings for sure.
I think again, I've done it for the residential. I've done it for the company that I work for. I can't remember if the one for the company I work for was through Mass Save, but at least residential, it's free. They give you a ton of recommendations.
Commercial programs a little different. I'm not sure how easy it is to get on a strictly commercial building.
Yeah, right. Good question.
If there's grants for it, even if we do one building at a time, it's better than we were yesterday.
Yeah.
As well as in the past, as well as in the past, what we found is that the person who did the energy audit, like I said, if the promise was that they were going to be getting the project, then they were willing to do it for free.
Yeah, right, and that concept makes sense. I'm skeptical that there isn't one that's more through Mass Save. Obviously, you've got not a conflict of interest, but you've got some self-interest if you're the HVAC company and you're auditing and you're going to give recommendations. Versus if you're a third party,
You'd have to be an auditor.
Yeah, right. You've got a third party auditor that honestly, when we did it for the company I work for, most of the recommendations were things that are just free or really simple. So a contractor wasn't going to recommend them because they were just free, simple upgrades.
Okay.
But point being, they give a great, healthy laundry list of projects that would make sense to either choose the energy efficiency or upgrade more bigger capital asks. And Dave, to your point, Dave Passios, that's a good point to. You've got that list of here are the upgrades that the building's going to need over time. How does that overlay with the longer term capital planning needs? And you can kind of just start plugging them in like that.
And you adjust timing then too.
Right.
If you can fund certain projects with the green communities this year, you might shift your capital plan to align with the green grants too.
Great point.
Yeah, totally. Like the boilers, they're not gone yet. They're on the list. So those ones are ones you can move around. Yeah, the rooftops here, I have no choice. Next year I need to get it on for 26 capital because they're obsolete at this point. We've been down for 12 weeks because the parts no longer exist to fix these rooftops.
Could this building do minis?
We've actually, yours actually had some people come in and looked at doing some mini splits in the other meeting room and some other areas.
Right, I figured at least.
It's one of those deals where the energy auditor is part of the, he's a third party and he's subbing it, but there's,
Okay.
So, I don't have all of that price, and we also looked at some mini splits in the public safety's training room, because training rooms are historically a disaster as far as humidity issues go. Because they're designed for a heat load of 50 people, there's almost never 50 people in them, so when there isn't, a system short cycle and
Yeah.
The other thing that's super important with these grant cycles is that any project should be almost shovel ready. We're in the grant process, because what happens is, as it did with the the streetlight project, it dragged out and had delays to the point where we miss out this fall because we can't meet the criteria to get into the next grant. Which means that the projects all have to be complete, all invoices paid, and then a report turned into green communities. We can't do that this year because the streetlights ran too late.
well, if it's work needs to be completed first, is it worth exploring? We've gotten through APDC for replacing all the doors and windows for Ritter, because they, when the wind blows, papers blow off my desk. So, we're moving forward on that one. I don't think we have enough funding quite yet, but
Yeah, Chris, you'd be well positioned, because you've got the list of projects that need to get upgraded. So then when you overlay that with an energy assessment, you can tell them when you're going through, like, we're gonna need to upgrade this, we're gonna upgrade this. So they can look at those with the closer eye and say, hey, you're all.
So guys, I don't know if you heard of it, but that has been one of the things that we've struggled with, is that the committee has kind of relied on what we can put together and studies that we can do. And we struggled with being able to get the project's timing done. So we have, instead of being able to do a grant per year, which is basically what the state expects, that you should be able to do a grant per year, we've pretty much been in a policy of every other year, so we've missed out quite a bit. Our cap is, I think, $1 million before they start to limit us to the amount of money and how often we can apply. But I would love to be able to hit that $1 million criteria sooner than so they can change the things. They also do is, if you get up in the money, they also offer other assistance to you, saying that, oh, you must have done this much already, so we offer more things available for you, and you get priorities and things of that sort. So I don't know if there's any questions on the computer side, that I can that can maybe go through. Okay, so I know you guys have talked about the idea of doing the mini splits. So the question would be then is, have we done the energy assessment on the building? And would you be able to put something together to say, if we did the mini splits, this is what the cost would be, this is what the rebate would be, and this would be our return on investment after all was said and done. And if that's the case, we're more than happy to try to do that same thing, with the swamp cooler, well, I won't call swamp coolers, put that stuff up on the roof here and things of that sort. I mean, personally, I'd love to be able to see this building split, like, these conference rooms to me make perfect sense for a mini split, because they're not often used.
yeah, that's what we were looking at in Newer, was many splits in here, and they were already working with one of the auditors on that. Like, I don't have all that paperwork, and yours been in and out lately. But I mean, I can start with giving you guys a list of the things I think would qualify, and when I think we need them, at least to get started there. And of course, energy assessments, if the state's going to pay for them, do every building except for the beach house, because that one doesn't even have heat.
Chris, how can we help you with the energy assessments? Do you want to directly reach out to the Mass Save if we find a contact or a way to do it? What would be? What would you prefer?
I'd have to see what we're looking at grant wise to pay for it.
Yeah.
I have so many projects in my budget right now that if I'm taking money away from one project for an assessment, I may not have a building that doesn't have heat. So
Yeah, totally.
I need to see
So
what
understanding
costs.
understanding costs would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it sounds like we have money available for assessments. we can approach it, right? If it's at $25,000 or something.
Yeah, the Meta grant, it was unclear if that Meta grant is for an energy audit assessment or more of like a tech feasibility on a specific system. It seemed to me, it's like, you've already done the energy audit, they recommended whatever, an air source heat pump system, and then that grant is to go really deep into a specific system to do a tech feasibility study.
Correct.
Is that, yeah?
That's correct. So I'm looking, you know, I look at it as two things. If you have, if there are simpler projects, I think it's simpler to get, you know, there's two ways of looking at it. If the project was immediate needs, I would look at it as if we could find a third-party energy assessment person that was willing to do it for the idea of maybe getting the project, just to push it along. And then for major projects, we have this grant funding possibilities. Some of the major projects that you know are not this year, but might be a year or two. So the idea would be is can we get the grant project through, you know, with the grant funding, could we get the study to do the, and they'll do more than one building. By the way, they talk about multiple buildings. It's just that the whole it's just a certain limit on the project.
Yeah.
Size and scope. So we're willing to help with whatever you guys can come up with is really the bottom line.
Yeah.
More than anything else. We're looking for projects. I think we've done as many vehicles as we can, as many streetlights, as many refrigerators.
Have we upgraded any town vehicles to electric vehicles?
So the only thing that we have is we have a couple of police cruisers. So everything that's more of a pickup truck or anything larger
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
yeah.
And then we've done most of the cruisers in town are now hybrids.
Yeah.
Okay. For that, you know, because, and we were able to get $10,000, $5,000 per cruiser.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a huge, for a $55,000 car.
Yeah.
It's still, you know, almost.
Yeah.
You know.
You're buying the cruiser no matter what. So
Exactly.
going
Correct.
through gets you.
How about charging systems at any of the town buildings, offices, schools?
We haven't looked into the charging systems, mainly because they're not really looking to subsidize that. That would be more something we could do that later on. Well, once you hit your 20% number, then they would think about that.
Yeah.
But right now, that seems more as a luxury than it is a necessity.
Got it, I see. Yeah, okay.
So, you know, we've kind of capped out with solar. I think we're almost to the point where we have more than we need. So we're getting close to that, once the lights are done. Because of the solar farm on, what's that, Route 13? Route 13, the solar on some of the roofs, and other projects that we're in, that we're part of.
Yeah.
The one by Twin City, the old Twin City Baptist. So the town gets quite a bit in solar power, as a subsidy. It's just a matter, you know, obviously I'll look at any new building being built to have solar on it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the big one was for the LED, was for the streetlights.
Yeah.
The streetlights would basically have, they'd have bill about at least more than half.
Yeah, nice job.
It's probably, sorry, less than half. Probably, it's like 35%.
Yeah.
What the old, 30% what the old bill was.
Yeah.
So that was significant.
Yeah, that's
So, and you know, we've done all the LED lights that we can do. This building is about the one that we didn't get all LEDs, bright lights above you. In recessed lights. Look at it, but.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not my thing, but, so that's kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Eric, I'm happy to kind of, you know, start sending you information about what could be done. You know, Carol, Kate, I don't know if you guys have any questions for us at all, or, you know, as you think about things.
I think this is a good start. We've missed a lot of this conversation, but from what I could gather, it looks like that you need to have some kind of audit performed before you can apply for most anything. And we can be in touch with you to find out the best way to go about doing that.
Correct. So the idea is you're gonna need the audit anyhow, because the audit's gonna tell you if you did this, whether it's even redoing windows, adding insulation or anything, you need to be able to tell them, based on how much the cost is gonna be, how long it's gonna take you to recoup that amount of money.
Right, to get the money back, sure.
Exactly. So we've seen anywhere up to 5 years. They like the 3 to 4 year number, but we've seen at least up to 5 years on higher capital projects. If they, because they, if a project's gonna if a new boiler, as an example, new boiler, if we look at that as being a 20-year item, they usually give you more time to get your ROI. They realize you're now gonna save it over more time.
Right,
And that's why the LED lights were so easy, is because, an LED light's supposed to last 10 to 20 years. So therefore, it was an easy thing to do.
I returned.
Sure.
2 years.
Something like
Eric-
2 years on the
2
street
years,
lights.
yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if we'd done 10 years.
No comment, but that's okay. It would have been also about 20% cheaper from Unitil, and we'll talk about that in a little while. I got
That's a
some.
good question.
I'm sorry. I didn't want
No,
to-
that's all right. That's all
What were
right.
you gonna say, Carol?
No, I was just saying that I think we have a direction to go in. And I was going to ask if Eric had any questions.
Not at this time. Like you, it was difficult to hear a lot of the conversation. I just get bits and pieces of it, but I've got a general idea of what you're looking for, so.
Okay, so guys, feel free to email or, or reach out if you have questions or anything like that. I'll try to send some more additional information about resources and where things are available, point you towards the green, on the green committee, on the green community test, on the green community site, on DOER, there is some links and some resources they talk about there. I'll look to send that to you both. Okay? So
Great.
just-
That would be great, Dave. Thank you for the help.
Okay, and that's the big thing is we're here to help you guys. Because in the end, if you can get 6 projects done instead of 3, it's a win-win for everybody right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Chris and Eric, I'll try to just reach out to Mass Save and see what I can find out about like municipal building energy assessments and get a contact, see what they cost, and
Certainly doesn't hurt, make a phone call.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
just start going down that route. Is
Right.
your emails both on the meeting invite if I reach out?
I'll make sure, I'm not sure if everything else, I'll make sure I got it.
Okay, great.
I'll send a follow-up. And the other one is I'll also try to introduce, I'm trying to say it's still DiNapoli, who's gonna be our contact with Unitil. And that would be for, when you need to say, how much of a rebate am I gonna get? They'll figure out, if you tell them what you're doing, they'll tell you how much the rebate would be from either Unitil or National Grid on either one. So John DiNapoli, and I'll have to look up the person from the National Unitil, the National Grid side. Because, which is weird in this town because,
There's some gas that's Unitil, some that's National Grid.
Right.
I think all of the power is Unitil.
correct. That was Unitil, gas is.
We buy gas from 2 different, we buy from Unitil and National Grid?
Depends on where in town you are, yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because that was the interesting one, because we looked to do the public safety building several years ago.
Yeah.
And there's no gas going to the public safety building, and neither one of them wanted to pay, to.
It's a couple
to
hundred
bring it-
feet short on either
Yeah,
side.
and then neither one of them wanted to bring it to the building. So we argued with them for a couple of years, and then we said, forget it. So,
Yeah, that was a poor decision on whoever built it. It was like a $40,000 ad 20 years ago.
never mind what it would have cost them to buy the dump in the front, just at the top.
They won't sell it to us.
No, and now he won't, now he's pissed,
Yeah.
but back then, he's basically giving it to us.
100 and something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer. I've been curious about that for a long time.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay, so, guys, if there's no other questions, I'm gonna let you, if you wanna run. I'm gonna get back into the other stuff for the committee, because I know you wanted to get back home.
Yeah, I gotta run, but I'll send you guys a list to get us started of what we have for projects. And
Yes.
let's start there.
Yes, and same thing, guys, at the school side, if you already have a list of projects, we can take a look, we can look at it quickly and kind of give you a feel for which ones would pass the muster, which ones would be viable for green, let's put that.
Great.
Thank you. That would be helpful.
Okay, excellent, we're here to help.
Thank you very much.
Help you help us, I should say, help you help us.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Do you want this?
I have a main.
Okay, perfect, okay. All right.
Hope getting your son to bed goes smooth.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you want to drop, I don't know, the next side of this is going to talk about the street lights and what's going on with that. You're welcome to stay if you like. If not, that's your choice.
All right, thank you much. Have a great evening.
You
All
too.
right.
Take care, guys.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much for
Thank
calling.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Okay, so now let me try to do this. I'm going to do my next one up here.
Like towards-
Oh,
Yeah, I think so. And the findings will land in the same place, but it's where it landed for me.
Cool, all right. Which side is that on?
Not saved, so it's like, it says, all the not saved stuff, you just updated by your sponsor and. it's the code. That's what it says.
Okay, all right, streetlights. Streetlights are moving along well. Okay,
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them.
there's a bunch, and they're almost done. We had a little scare in the beginning, because you're gonna see in the front, this is basically done in order that they did it, right? So you can see needs rewire on there. And solar thing that needs rewire. So in the beginning, they basically looked at it and said, oh, shoot, over 50% of these need to be rewired, which some of us thought was gonna be a problem in the first place, but which we turned out.
We told you so.
We couldn't say that, right? However, the deal is we have enough funds, and this one we went overboard on what we asked for. We got it from the state, and we have enough funds to pay for the rewire. The other thing is they found out that when they did the audit, that there was like 8 lights that were not where they, 8 or 10, hold on, bear with me a second. Oh, I don't have to do this now. Okay, good. I can actually see what I'm doing here. All right, okay, let me go this one back to this side. Okay. Oh, now I blew it completely. What did I do here? Okay, here we go. All right, Gmail. All right, so let me get George's email up. Okay. Okay. They're still expecting the 22nd. They found eight of them. Somewhere in here, you'll see the installer notes that basically there was no fixture. So it was marked on the pole, marked for the pole, and we don't know what happened or something like that. But when they went to the pole, there was nothing to replace.
Now, that was after 2 audits.
I understand.
After 2 audits.
I understand.
One for the purchase and one for the,
Right. So we had ordered extra lights. They've used up those. We're borrowing some lights from the places he has down in Rhode Island that he has with his, deal like that. So this way we're not waiting. They're gonna still continue to finish up and finish everything.
We'll buy replacements that'll restock their inventory.
And we'll restock ours. So we're gonna end up, I think, with 10 lights as like sitting around in inventory in case we need one, right? This way, when we need somebody, they're gonna come with their bucket, go up there, change the light and go down, okay? So this is pretty exciting. Oops, I don't want to be on this thing. Let me take the video off here. Because I don't think I have anybody here. Come on. Stop video. I don't want to be taking myself. Did enough video to web access today. Okay, so it's coming in. There was a little bit of controversy on this because between Heather, miscommunication between George, Heather, and the company. But in the end, they're done. And if we ended up with 8 more, 12 more, whatever the number of lights, we probably needed them in town. And the feeling is we had the money and it ain't gonna affect our electric bill too much compared to everything else. So we're doing okay there. As you can see, there was a bunch of them that needs rewiring. They're working a deal with Unitil. Unitil basically said, tell us how many needed rewiring, and we'll talk to you when you're done. Whether they give us anything or not, it doesn't matter. We still have the money to pay it. It's more the principle of the thing that they charge us over charge us $90,000 for an infrastructure that wasn't maintained for the past 3-4 years. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
for the most part, is it just wire? through the arm.
Correct, correct. In fact, if I got it correctly, and I'd have to go back in my emails, it was almost like it was the wrong wire that they were using. And it might have been that in 1950, it was the right wire, but, you know, they're still using it type of thing, okay? So we're getting there. The lights are also the dimmers. You can see here, they talk about, hold on, let me bear with me here a second here.
Okay, you need rewire have not been installed yet?
No, those are all installed. Everything's installed now. Then they talk about here, dimmers, you know, whether they went 60%, 40%, which dimmers we have. So the lights at like, I think we said midnight. Midnight, they're gonna dim down to either 60% of the power, 40% of the power, and then, you know, at dusk, well, sometime in the morning, come back up when it becomes towards the commuter time. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what the numbers are there, but that was Unitil actually agreed to give us a discount for that as well. So
They make the recommendations on the timing, or did we just arbitrarily pick timing on when they dim and when they come back?
So there was certain set times and dimming, and these are this was seen as the most popular.
We had a consultant.
Right.
There's an industry standard depending on what you're trying to accomplish.
And that's fixture by fixture, there's not, no central control on these. right?
Correct. That's fixture by fixture, set timing. Right. And so you can almost see it. It's gonna be based on where they are in the town. So if it's on a side road, you know, so you can see it goes 60 to, you know, 30 and 60, 40 to 20 and things like that. Because some of these are that we just put the same head in. And even if you didn't need that much light, you know, they just did a bigger dimmer right away. And if you needed that much light, fine, you're running it at full power.
Yeah.
Okay, so because the thought was is the more of the same lights you buy, the cheaper it is than trying to futz around and say, and then plus when you're retrofitting, you don't have to sit there and go, oh, where's my, you know, all I have is 100-watt bulbs and I need a 60, right? That kind of thing. So, which we've all done at home a couple of times in our lifetime, right? And usually it's the other way around. But
That's cool, I just didn't know. The whole dimming function.
yeah,
Different levels of power.
so it's actually really cool, and this has been a you know, an interesting thing. It's been because most of us is quiet residential. They haven't had to bother to do a lot of police details and things of that sort. You know, the only time they're doing police details is on the main roads. I think any residents used to seeing, you know, either Unitil bucket or a Comcast bucket truck out there, and they know to slow down a little bit when they're going down a rural 2-lane road. So this is really exciting for us. This has been a long time coming. We battled Unitil, what would you say, about a year? That we battled them just on the price alone?
Mhm.
On the price alone.
That's something I was gonna bring up now. I think the process we've gone through in the last decade proves that we need, with a project this intricate, we need a consultant really that knows what.
Agree 100%, yes.
We have committees all town, some that I've been on, that, you know, trying to create RFPs and this, that, and the other thing, and really don't have a clue what they're doing. Whereas for a few $1,000s, you could have a consultant who's a specialist in that field and expedite every part of the project, to get it done quickly. I think. Right, exactly. I think, honestly, if we had pulled George in 5 years ago when I first. heard about it, I
Agree.
think we would have been done 3 years ago.
No, I agree, and it would have been,
$20,000 cheaper.
right.
Not that it matters, we have the money. but-
So it could have been other projects we did at that point,
$20,000 additional savings in that case.
Yeah.
Right.
right? Never mind what we spent in 2 years on the Unitil lights.
Exactly.
Just to give you an idea, I mean, these guys know, but the Unitil, it was like probably 50% of our bill to Unitil was on maintenance. Maintenance of the lights, and the fact that they did nothing for 3 years even got you even worse.
And we bought an infrastructure. Units were totally.
Right, so you'll see that they had to put poles, some of the lights in town I'll send you guys the list. We'll have brand new poles. Because we talked, brand new arms, I'm sorry, brand new arms and things of that sort. This is, like I said, this is exciting to at least get this done. We looked at it for one point, we looked at, okay, do we want to add lights? Do we want to not lights and things like that? Like, you know, to me, there's like 4 lights by Keating. Right, and I believe Keating should be, 3 of those lights should be Keating's lights, not our lights, but I'm not gonna argue at this point. I mean, I think originally they were probably installed by Keating and they just got sucked into the town.
I'll tell you, going in from Rotary, Whalen, towards the 4 corners in Whalen, we've got our new lights there, and then the pizza shop and the package store has that high pressure mercury.
Yes,
they call it,
yeah.
that orangey yellow color light.
Yes,
And it's like, oh my God.
yeah.
It's like, oh my God, they need to change that.
So like I said, this is exciting. We're getting there slowly.
Good job. That's pretty.
Yeah, okay.
That was the first 2 weeks that we were looking up at them and saying.
Yeah.
Now I look at the ground.
Yeah.
I don't look at that.
You know, the only thing I haven't seen is, I mean, I'm getting this way, but I've been dying to see what it's like, you know, take a look at what it is when it's on and when it's dimmed. But for some reason, I'm really not out at 1 o'clock in the morning that often. I think I'm trying to say it's midnight because of our, you know, pretty much Lunenburg shuts down by midnight. I don't even think On the Rocks is open.
There's quite a difference on Lancaster Ave. I don't come up through there anymore now. I retired 2 weeks ago. I was coming up Drive anywhere from midnight to 2 in the morning.
Okay,
And it was still lit enough where the streetlights were so that it was, you know, reaching the ground and gave you some perspective as to what was there. But then honestly, I don't think I've driven through there when they were at full power.
right,
Or whatever they're set
Okay.
to.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I mean, not something I'm gonna figure out, but I'm curious. I mean, the one thing that I've heard about the upgraded, just upgraded LED lights, is they do emit more light pollution. So if they are, I mean, if you want to visit, they are pretty bright.
Do we have the shield?
so some of, some of them, oh, no problem. I'm just realized I didn't bring my phone in. I'm feeling naked. Oh, no, I did bring my phone. It's just, put it somewhere. Put it
I
somewhere.
lose my.
Oh, it's on the desk over there. Okay, I had to do it to find the plug. Shield here. It's on here somewhere. Hold on.
We got some spots, or we got the ones that are.
We got shield capable, but some of these, there might be a category up here for the shield.
Yeah.
I tried to eliminate a few categories here.
Is there a need? Or do they reduce the power going into them?
It's,
Still do their job and
yeah.
get more cost because you're using power.
you know, I don't know, because that's, and by the way, right now, it's, you know, it's more of, we didn't want to shock people too much with what they would say. Nope, that's not under there.
It can't be adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah. Like if it's facing someone, you know, like single lights are doing one there and one there.
Oh, there we go, shield.
Right by it.
Okay.
Shield.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not gonna get rid of that much of the glare because you're expecting.
Look like a mini shield.
No, it doesn't look like the shield got installed on many of them.
You think it didn't get it?
It's either they didn't mark it or they didn't install. We'd have to look. But the shields are, I think we bought, I remember buying some shields, and I think the thought was if people complained,
It was needed.
if it was needed. Because I think a lot of that is just more of, 8 times the lights are pointed the wrong way. So the lights were able to be adjusted a little bit this way, so that this way you shouldn't get pollution as much.
I did notice one of them somewhere. Pointing down almost at the base of the pole, it wasn't really hitting the road very much.
Okay,
So
all right,
if I see that again, I'll.
excellent. Yeah, because that's really, I mean, we're gonna have a little choice, and I'll find out from I'll take a look, have a conversation with Heather and George to see what the final, whether we have the ability to go around and say, okay, everything's pointing in the right direction.
They just public safety had any input on that. Does it go around?
Yeah, I don't think they're paying much attention to, to that thing.
Do you know what type light this is? What the light pattern is? Type one,
I don't know
not a real big deal.
no, actually, so that's dim 4. wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that's saying it, okay, 70 to, at midnight, it goes from 70 to 50%.
So why is it running only at 40% to begin with?
It might be, yes.
Residential. Those residents probably have those like working for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I noticed that.
If you would put those to 100%, we would have the place all over.
Yeah, it's no high pressure, so, no electrical high pressure sodium, which is yellow after 25 years of operation, something like that. The bulbs just don't really burn out, they kind of just fade into orange.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so you can kind of see it while it's running, it's about 16 watts. And then it dim is to 8 watts, 21 to 11.
How do the lumens compare?
I'm not sure on that, but
The
if,
original lumens on the, considering the original lumens on the old one, as the high pressure sodium ages,
Yeah.
lumens just drop
Yeah, it's
considerably,
Yeah,
yeah.
I see.
Lumen comparison, probably really fair comparison. You know, original high pressure sodium, so equal lumens almost.
But they drop off over time. Now there's significant, so it's significantly right.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, again, not necessarily now, not that over time. If it's possible to even reduce the amount of energy going into it, and they still, there's a plenty of light that's needed, but there's less overall light solution for people and other creatures that would be bothered by that solution, and we can save more costs. Because there's not as much power going
We're gonna have to renegotiate with you until to save costs.
Yeah.
We're not getting billed on that or set fixed rate.
Right, yeah, nothing's metered, it's all calculated.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
No meters on these poles, it's coming right off of their lines.
So it's a fixed. Interesting.
Yeah, so
Right.
we're being billed based on what, on a spreadsheet, what we're running.
So they get some type of estimate on how much it would be, and then we just fix it.
Yeah, so we have to reset all of that
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah, okay. Got it.
We did look into the ideas of meterings and things like that on the individual lights.
Yeah.
It just looked like the ROI was just a little, and when you have a municipal electric that's not cooperating.
As I say, they had to agree to accept those.
Yes.
Too, right?
Yes,
So we could say, all they want, here's our data on our energy use, and they could say, oh crap, here's what we're willing to accept.
That's right, this is what.
Plus the cost to maintain that system. Yeah, all interactive and Wi-Fi connected to each individual fixture and all that.
How many poles are there?
300 and, I should know this off the bat, 36. Yeah.
Lights.
That's been count the 8 Before I had one.
Oh, wait a minute, I could have done it this the easy way, hold on. $360 there, but this wasn't completed. This is all what's been completed so far.
Yeah.
So there's a few more to go.
Yeah.
And, so you can see, yeah, that's interesting, but they had and the other side of this is that we might have had a 50-watt bulb. And some locations we had 100-watt that had no purpose. We had some that were even like 250-watt bulbs, like near Wayland, right? Was the 250-watt bulb, mainly because maybe when it was put in, that's what was necessary when you had all the people there.
Yeah.
But, now, do I really need that anymore?
Yeah.
So we looked at that a little bit, but not, in the end, I don't know how much that worked. That made sense. Okay.
Other
So right now, we were tapping out on projects. That's why I wanted to make sure the facilitator, just to give a little quick history, when we first started, the school committee, the gentleman who did the school facilities was super active with us.
Yeah.
He was our man for writing grants, for doing doing that.
Yeah.
He was a master at it. And therefore, the schools got a lot of things done.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we struggled with the town. So the town, we finally got a few things done, but it would be more like stupid stuff. LED lights, here or there.
Energy Star refrigerator.
Right. Well, that was one I had to beg for that too, which I can't believe they did that. So we got one where they can upgrade the refrigerators at all the buildings to Energy Star. And the idea was you had X amount of dollars to spend. And so they had a cheap apartment sized fridge in, and they could have put an Energy Star full size.
Yeah.
And the guy ordered the cheap apartment one again. So it's like, really? So like for the Boys and Girls Club, I got one with the ice maker built in and the whole works.
Yeah.
For the same thing that they did for here, if you went to the kitchen here, which is like an apartment size generic white fridge.
Didn't they not swap one of them out?
They didn't swap two of them out. I almost gave them away.
They were still in the box at the base.
No, they weren't in the box.
Oh, they weren't in the box.
That's why I almost gave them away. So I was basically, I'm part of the teen center thing, and I was about to, we got a grant to do the installation of the pipes. And because the grant turned out to be different, I didn't realize about prevailing wage. So I got a quote to do the installation of the pipes. I jacked it up 25%, submitted it to the green. We got approved.
Yeah.
Then I went to the same guy and I said, okay, now it's time to install. He says, oh, wait a minute, it's a green grant. I got to do prevailing wage. Well, it was double what my thing was. So we couldn't afford that. But for that much money, I can go buy the materials, do it myself, and still had enough money to insulate the whole basement attic. Now, I went to the town, I said, okay, buy insulation for me. So they bought rolls of insulation, bats. And I went and I sat there and I put the bats in because I waited for them, put it in, only to have the new building inspector tell us that you can't have fiberglass bats, not fire resistant. And I found out I had enough money, but all I had to do was do rock wool to begin with, and I would have been all set. And it's like, you figure the town, somebody would have said, I know it was probably I look at it as, okay, it's my responsibility, but I'm like, guys, you couldn't. Exactly.
So, okay, got it. So it sounds like in a little bit of a lull now, engaging.
Well, the problem we have is we can't do it's not like we can do the audits, we can walk through the buildings, we can do everything. Like the public safety one was one where we sat there and they said the heat system stunk, that they needed repairs, and we're like, guys, submit it. And they finally did, and we were able to get them the money for that.
Yeah.
So we were able to get the money for almost everything.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of we need the town to be able to, the school and the town to provide the proof for the projects.
Are there things that can help on the residential side?
We've talked about the residential side. We don't have, pretty much the committee's just been trying to get grant funds and executing on the grants.
Yeah.
We have talked about community outreach.
Yeah.
However, we haven't done that just yet. I'd love to be able to find the time and to be able to start doing more of that, because I believe that like I see people talking about, solar panels, and they still get sucked in with leasing their solar panels, and I'm like, guys,
I'm interested in community outreach. And I go to a lot of.
Okay.
So
So
one thing that I'm doing.
No problem.
Might be helpful. I'm kind of engaging and exploring with some other towns that have done like big greenhouse gas inventories for the whole town, working on a tangible net zero plan for their town. And a lot, at least some of the towns that have audited, the greenhouse gases from municipal building use is significantly less than residential. I mean, it's like 90-10, 95%.
Yeah.
5% on the municipal side. So impact on the residential side is really significant. Obviously, we get less control, but community outreach and whatnot. So I'm curious to how some of the other towns are influencing on the residential side and what's working and what's not. Harvard, Mass is a pretty interesting view on there. They've got like a Harvard climate site. It's a super kind of intuitive site that residents can poke through, get ideas, and kind of like check off things they've done, a little sign in their yard. It's kind of a cool example.
I've seen other examples of that, with like, I just have Google searches, like random ones all over the country, that they have this really cool website, like, things that you can do, like,
Yeah,
pollinator habitats to, more composting pickups and stuff
yeah,
like that, so.
yeah. Cool. So I'll shoot you some that I find, and I'm happy to shoot
Yeah.
to the group, but yeah, I mean, if we're
Nope,
we're
and so,
looking for projects, I mean, if we maybe have some appetite for, exploring some other stuff and want to explore residential.
understand, early on, I tried to do a little thing with the ledger. Now it's more of, unless it's an editorial, they don't seem to want to be too interested.
Yeah.
I guess I take up too much ad space. But for those of us that still get the ledger, right?
My sister was in there, maybe I could just look space.
Yeah, right, okay. Yes, exactly. But we do have a site on the town. But however, I would be very excited to be able to, beef that up and do something. I think we're one of these committees that we've worked hard, but not many folks realize what we're doing. We're not televised. I think in I've been here since day one, but I think the amount of people who have come to observe a meeting who are not already sitting here right now, I can count on probably two hands, without keeping one still in my pocket. But we actually had two students come one time. They were the only ones that were smart. I think that night was a finance committee meeting when Peter was still on there. And so they got stuck till 10 o'clock at the finance committee, and we were done by 8.
Yeah.
But that's really, I do agree. I like to be able to do more community outreach. We have special town meeting. We have town meetings, like to be able to present to town meetings more of what we've done. I might ask if I can get some time on town meeting to just, recap the street lights, recap what we're trying to do, and things of that sort on that.
Yeah,
Which is
interesting.
cool.
Interested in more community outreach, we can support.
Right. Yeah, because yes. And I'd be probably surprised at how few people even understand what Mass Save is all about.
Right, providing resources of, let's lead you to it.
Totally.
Places to dispose of things, links to all that kind of stuff.
Totally. Yeah, how do we keep it simple for, right? There's so many options out there. Right. So.
Right. So,
Only just for me.
Yeah.
It's overall, yeah, you've got to really dive deep into it. Yeah, so keeping it super simple.
so you mean I'm not supposed to just have the burn party in the backyard for the mattress? I'm supposed to have some place to actually do that. Oops, I'm still on recording now. No, I agree. It is getting tougher and tougher, and just the little things like look, I understand those simple things of how do you get rid of a TV, which I don't know if you can even do anymore. Now that Best Buy stopped taking them. What's that?
But,
Yes.
That's where I put my battery, so I can still do that.
Yeah. Well, I think they down to only a 19-inch. So it's kind of like
Like the CRT or flat screen?
the CRTs.
Okay.
And I don't even know what they're doing with for flat screens at all. They're doing anything at all for flat screens.
It's like random, like electronics recycling, events, but I don't even know, if I can bring stuff because I don't live there or not part of that group.
Well, even that, there was
Figure that stuff.
Yeah, there was one done, so there was very poor this year. There was one done with the school. And it really wasn't advertised that well. And it was like,
Mackey's did, dehumidifiers and something else recently with rebates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The rebates, yeah.
but even folks don't even realize if they upgrade their fridge, they can get it taken away and money given to them. right?
Mm.
And, well, in fact, that's what I was yelling at the town. It was like, okay, you have the old ones. Take it away and, you know, even if you give it to somebody else to say here.
Are there other-
Their farmers market. It really great, like increase in people attendance.
Yeah.
They really did a lot of stuff on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that seemed to help.
Do they have their own?
We don't have a Facebook page at town. We've posted to the town page.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're really seeing a lot of times it's just, we're actually a committee under the planning board. If you want to really get technical with it.
Yeah.
We serve for the benefit of the select board. However, when it was first started, the chairman of the plant, what do they call, him, Adam, but now that Adam's gone, but the,
Zoning board of.
no, the ground,
Land use.
the land use person, was very active and she really was pushing for this.
Yeah.
For the green community thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of fallen off over the years. Now we're just kind of floating as an entity.
Yeah.
We have to remind the selectmen that we're even here sometimes, which is what I got yelled at last night on the building reuse committee because they felt I was getting a little too vocal, that it wasn't supposed to be a green committee commercial. But they're talking, you know, that's the same thing. They were talking about the 300, that's why the school committee was on here,
Right.
is they're talking about $300,000 for mini splits. And I'm like, did you come to us
Yeah.
with your proposal?
Right.
Thank you for the commercial.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And then,
Honestly. Eventually create. Get out. Would also bring more visibility. Oh. This is a green committee.
yes,
We're getting- if they got it, I bet we would end up getting some two-way. Might be a good way to just.
Everybody's gonna want to solar panels. I'll be the first.
they actually had that. They have one of my brother, in my brother's town, they had a lottery for free solar panels.
Really?
And they basically did it as, you know, it was kind of a fundraiser lottery, but it was $1 to get your name on it. But you got free solar panels if you one of the 5 winners.
One panel.
No, you got the whole, you got, right, yeah, but yeah,
Here's the panel.
yeah.
Great.
Hey, we'll take it, you know, at this point. All right, so that's, yeah.
The other department that we have not. Pressured into coming to us for their future projects.
Oh.
Cemetery, I'm sorry, I've got something else in my head.
Water and sewer?
Water,
Yeah,
well,
Yeah.
sewer.
yeah, sewer, okay, all right.
Because I know they're in the process somewhere in the next couple of years of replacing motors on pumps and things like that.
High efficiency.
Right. Oh, yeah, most definitely. I keep telling them, you know, you guys really gotta come to us because we could probably fund that. And it's not big money like this $500,000 project. It's not big money for what they're gonna do.
Right. So the feeling when we do this is we want to have, you know, over and above the number of projects because they're gonna nix some of them. They're gonna say to some of them, hey, the ROI is not there. And they do like the little projects. They seem to like you to have more little projects done. Yeah, quick and easy, quick hitters. And get it in and out. You know, that's why we've been able to do the lights so easily and things like that. So the building envelope, but the building envelope, the problem was getting somebody to actually show up to do it type of thing and things of that sort. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really bring up questions because we're talking about schools and everything. Compost and.
No, but we did get them hooked up for a while. I don't know if they still do it, but they used to collect the juice packs. Send them to a recycling place that made like bags and other things out of them.
Monday steak becomes Tuesday
Well, those
I
meat,
think
right,
jokes instead of
right.
steak, it becomes hamburger,
right,
it
you
becomes
got meatloaf,
sloppy
yeah,
joes,
yeah,
round
yeah,
bags of
yes,
salad.
exactly, yeah.
Because that's like a big scale, like kids throw away like all of their food, and I know like we have things like as adults, like compost recycling, and then they have, landfill, which makes me feel bad. But like, I don't know if they have something like that in the school, so like the kids could start like learning like composting to kind of get people used to that and, save a lot of the waste.
So,
Did any of the schools have any type of like sustainability team, green team?
no,
I know there have been, my wife teaches in the high school, and I know they did some like student-led projects.
Yeah.
Part of their classroom exercise was to try to find some community benefit.
Yeah.
And I know kids had looked into recycling programs and different things, and it just a lot of resistance, it just looked too much like work, I think, and it just things didn't happen. So I think I've heard that the recycling stuff we have in places and all that, great, right?
Yeah.
That one, people put stuff in recycling they shouldn't be putting in recycling, and two, know that the recycling actually gets separated as recycling, right? It's like recycling for optics only, right? You put it in your separate bin, you put your trash out. What they do with it from there,
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody knows or cares. It's not really the recycling program I want, but it's the recycling program I have.
I just watched the thing on recycling just recently, and there's one or two plastics that are considered premium.
PET.
And everything else is a cost burden to the recycler
Mhm.
and a real problem. And it just winds up traveling 10 steps through the system and then going to a dump. Because nobody can use it, nobody wants it. It's just useless stuff. So there's really like just a very small handful of plastics that are getting recycled. Cardboard's the biggest, one of the cardboard and paper is one of the easy ones to do. And, if you think you're gonna start,
pizza boxes for nothing.
you can't save the pizza boxes because they cover with grease.
No, you
Just
can,
the-
you
yeah,
can actually
You can-
recycle your boxes whenever.
Really?
There's no food waste on it. It says on the website. You can
Oh,
recycle
even-
it.
all right. Even grease though, okay, because I've been tearing them apart. I take the top and I put it in recycling, and I take the bottom and put it in the trash.
That's
Yeah,
what I
there's
do.
actually, it says you can.
Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There you
And all they had to do was put that little piece of wax paper on the bottom, I didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
That
On
might
the
cost-
composting, so I just recently went through Garden's like. Biggest drivers are on waste. They want a huge reduction in the total amount of tons of waste to landfill. I think it's a.
I was gonna say, I've seen that on like Chronicle or something where they have a service and you put out your like 5-gallon pail of compost.
Yeah.
And after some period of time, you get like a 3-gallon pail of potting soil back
Oh.
at some point. Right? But it's like you contribute your compost waste to this program, but you don't have to do the composting at your own place.
Which I think is like a limitation for a lot of people. They're like, I don't want to turn it. I don't want to like.
I don't want rats, I don't want
Yeah.
critters, right? But
I'll ask how they did it. I don't know if like the committee did it on behalf of the town and kind of offered it to the town or individual residents have to sign up. I don't, so I'm curious how they did it. It was all send out.
Okay.
The
Well,
whole
what- so-
introduction.
So really for us, the bottom line is I think as a group, we're very much interested in, doing what we can. It's been a lot of time has been just kind of fighting to get, just these projects done because the charter was you were supposed to reduce by 20%. I think we're at like 12, if I remember right. And we've already escaped the amount of years. So the state of Massachusetts just keeps funding us. They realize, that 20% is a nice number. I understand that, but there's also a thing saying that in order to get funding, in order to be eligible for these funds, you should have been on a path to do this. I don't think, if I remember right, I think out of the 200 towns that are part of this, I think like 5 have actually accomplished that.
Yeah.
And they were mainly because they had that many municipal buildings to do it.
Yeah.
It's just tough. We don't have that in this town. And the problem we've had is that we've taken a municipal building, kind of decommissioned it, but built a bigger one.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And it's unfortunate. So I do believe that it would be nice to be able to start reaching out and making ourselves better known to the residents and let the residents start to get some individual benefits
Yeah.
from this.
Are you? Start, I mean, it sounds like just putting together a Facebook page and maybe we just throw a bunch of ideas and like. here.
Well, so if you want, it's not even as much as, there is the town will upgrade our webpage, if that's possible. We could advertise about going to the webpage through the town Lunenburg page and just kind of start to see if, what we get for things. But to me, it's a matter of how much somebody wants to maintain our own Facebook page. But I understand that, but I'm saying that just, I look at it as that, unfortunately, when you get community pages, you get a lot of stupid things. And
Yeah, I mean, I see it, I'm on like Lunenburg discussion, I'm on like uncensored Lunenburg, I've seen it all.
Right.
How about if you create an information?
Yeah, you can
Just
definitely
keep
turn
pumping
on-
out information. Then they can do all the complaining about all the other stuff.
Comments can go to the website,
right,
I think we just have to be, like, people are gonna say. Stuff, like, it just happens.
Right.
Whatever, this deal is.
But the more community outreach we get, the more.
Then we gotta
support
dump all the
we have.
compost in there.
Right, exactly. The thing is that when one person posts something dumb, everyone's gonna be like, well, why are you being so dumb?
Yeah.
Like, this is a good program,
So,
you
I
know,
think-
so.
To your point, most people are gonna be super smart about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't, yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
we all like to make the world a better place.
Totally.
So,
Well,
Yeah, Kim, so if you want to lead into it and have some ideas, yeah, I'd be happy to throw it in.
yeah, I definitely actually might wanna look into like how to do it.
Yeah.
And, what the country we're planning.
Cool, love it. Well, I'll bring some ideas offline.
no problem. And we could, like I say, we could start looking at the resources that are out there already, just to what we are doing,
Yeah.
okay? Just if anybody finds anything that they think is interesting or anything like that, just start accumulating them. And even if it's just all we're throwing as links, or maybe we can even do like a tip of the month or something like that.
Start using TikTok.
Wow, I can become TikTok famous.
That's my.
All right, yeah, my promise. Oh, wait. Oh, shoot, I didn't even call the meeting, but, motion,
Motion to adjourn.
favor? All right, okay. Yeah.